Hi, I'm Matt Ziegler, an associate professor of international relations at Michigan State University's James Madison College. When we talk about war crimes, what we're really saying is that the actions used by one side or both sides in the action of war tend to be directed against civilian populations rather than just military combatants, or even when done against military combatants, tend to be excessive in the nature of force. The International Criminal Court looks at war crimes as, again, excessive use of force against civilian populations, crimes against humanity, genocide, and also the crime of aggression, basically an illegal use of force. All of these issues really are present in our current discussions of what is happening in Ukraine, where Russia is accused by many of violating what's legitimate in war. What we're seeing is the targeting of schools, the targeting of hospitals, the targeting of ambulances. These aren't military or political or strategic targets. They don't need to be done. These laws are well understood and well accepted around the world. That's why there are laws of war that dictates that organizations like the Red Cross are neutral and should be protected, or different ambulance corps should be protected. So I guess a big question is, how do we adjudicate this? There are laws of war, but international law doesn't work the same way as domestic law. There is no global policeman. It's about states and individuals holding each other accountable. But the International Criminal Court, while it's a great idea and it's really helped push this notion of individual culpability in international criminal law, it's still very limited, because international law requires states to assent to different laws and to different courts. And while the U.S. was a major sponsor of the International Criminal Court, we ultimately never ratified and accepted our presence in the court, and neither has Russia. And that's going to make it really hard for the court to ever get jurisdiction over any Russian in this situation. So we shouldn't expect to see Putin in The Hague. What's possible is that individual countries themselves can adjudicate individuals. So Ukraine could try individuals for genocide. Genocide is a universal crime. Any country in the world could try a case of genocide that occurred anywhere. The tricky thing is, they'd still have to get the Russian leaders to Ukraine, to those courts. And that's going to prove to be really hard. So we're not likely to see Putin in a courtroom. And that's sort of okay. But we're still talking about international law, and that's really important. This dialogue of international law, this notion of what he's doing is excessive and illegitimate, further punishes him, further isolates him. And it might prevent other world leaders from committing acts that were very similar.